Well, like much of the retail sector, the toy sector is facing changes. But as big box stores like Toys R Us are feeling the pressure, other toy stores are thriving. All of this as the Amazon effect takes hold. I got some perspective on all of this from Tony Chapman, CEO of Chapman Reactions.
Well, Amazon's become the world's biggest vending machine, and toys are an easy thing to push the button. I don't have to fight the lineup. I don't have to get the fist fights in stores. And the Toys R Us obviously had a lot of debt because they were bought out by that private equity thing. But what is amazing for me is as I was driving along my street, seeing all these boarded up streets, you see this mastermind. You're saying, why are they succeeding? Small footprint. Toys R Us are failing, and then you've got the Amazon effect. You also have the Walmart effect. How are they winning? And that's the thing that I got quite interested in.
How big is the toy sector? Is it growing?
Yeah, it's about $22 billion in the States. It's a Toy Industry Association, growing about 3% a year. Americans spend more money. They love their toys, so do Canadians. We like the next new thing. It's very important at Christmas to be hovering around the child and say, look what I found you, getting that big smile on your face. Big category, lots of growth. Every year you've got your Tickle Me Elmo, one-hit wonders. But in general, the concept of sharing and giving toys, very much part of our culture.
And does that include growth in non-e-toys? A lot of parents, I think, have the perception that it's video games are nothing for a lot of these kids. But are conventional toys, board games, construction sets, are they seeing growth as well?
They're wavering. It depends. If you get that license, that Star Wars license or something, people will get back into Lego. Lego had a first bad year in a long time because they didn't have the hot licensed merchandise. No question electronics is taking a bite. But again, parents want to see people see their kids get off the screen and start having that play factor.
Do parents or kids want to go into stores and feel and play with toys physically before buying?
Well, this is what Mastermind does so well, and I think a lesson for all small business. The first thing is it's not what matters to them, it's what matters to you. What do you do when you want to walk in the store? First of all, you want to find the right gift, peace of mind. Passionate salespeople saying, hey, this is what you should be looking at. Unique gifts, so that you're not going to come in and say, oh, I've already got that. Third thing that they think they do more than anything else is they say, we're not in the transaction business, we're in the transformation business. We have toys that can change the way your child behaves, thinks, feels, and plays. So they're not just the play factor, that's everything goes with it. The final thing that I think is a great lesson for all of us if you're in retail is they actually do gift wrapping as well. And I think a lot of parents want to walk in, get the perfect gift, have it wrapped, job is done.
John Levy is the founder and CEO of Mastermind. He's said in the past that his job is to find his inner kid and discover what's fun. That sounds a bit trite, and it almost brings to mind, in fact, it directly brings to mind the movie Big of decades ago, where Tom Hanks took on the body of an adult and in fact was a kid, and he was on the board of directors of a toy company, and he simply said about toy proposals, well, that's not fun, and he was considered a genius. But how difficult is it for leaders in the business to understand what kids think is fun?
Well, I think when you're growing 12 stores a year, it's always hard to keep that value system, but I think he gets it. He looks at the eye shining. I think it really matters to him as people walking away with a perfect toy. So I think, you can go to the toy fairs, you can say this is going to be the next hit, but I think he really observes the kids playing in a store. I don't know if you've ever been in a Mastermind. It's not like, don't touch that. It's like, hey, touch all you want, play. And he sits back and he looks and he thinks about it and he smiles and he says, that's going to be a hit because you can't get that kid away from it. And I think that's just smart, focusing in on the insights that matter most versus what you think is just going to be the big ticket in your cash register.
Spin Master is due to report results tomorrow. That company, an extremely successful Canadian developer of toys. The last time Spin Master reported results, sales were up 26%. Every metric of profit was up as well. What is Spin Master doing right?
Well, they've got their consistencies like Air Hogs, but then they hit the Hatchimals and they realize, again, the inner saying, I want to hatch something. I want to see it grow, even if it's electronic. The kids feel they have that sort of nurturing part of it. So when you come out with something like that that really taps into human DNA, you can have a success story. And they also, by the way, Spin Master, great Canadian company. It's not just the toy they create that content that goes right through to television, social media, so it becomes this entire ecosystem that kids can get immersed in the whole playability.
That was one of my questions. How important is social media in selling toys?
Social media is really important. Two sides. One, within the parents are starting to say, what's hot? what's number one, what should I get the kid, the boy that's 11, the girl that's 12. So they've got a validation because, again, they want to get the right toy. The second thing, obviously, is the pictures that happen, kids playing, here's my Hatchimal, here's what it can do. And you start saying, hey, there's a lot of play factor to it, is important. So whatever you sell, if you can extend it and amplify it in social media, that's smart for business.
Okay, what are the lessons here then for retailers or businesses going up against the likes of Amazon, whether they're in the toy segment or not?
Number one, get out of the transaction business, be in the transformation business. Two, focus on what matters most, and that doesn't necessarily mean your bottom line. The smile you're putting on the face, your peace of mind. Look at things like a parent walking out saying, oh, I got to go home and wrap it, and say, why don't I offer free gift wrapping? Put it all together, focus on what matters most, and you can take on Amazon and contain their overflowing banks.